Hi everyone, it's Gary Nicholson here. This is your mountain planning video updated on Friday the 29th of December. And I think the most important thing to say is just expect rapid changes in the weather conditions over the next few days and into next week as well, as a complex series of low pressure systems move across the country. We've got periods of gales, storm force winds on the mountains at times, frequent precipitation, often of snow, particularly across Scotland where cold air stays in place. And really the week ahead as a whole is just looking broadly unsettled. So we won't try and get too bogged down in the detail. We'll try and summarise where things are going. First of all, look at temperatures. This is the 850 millibar chart. It's around 4,500 feet or so in the atmosphere, so it gives us a useful steer for the Scottish mountains. And through Saturday, you're down to -3, -4 on those higher tops. Freezing levels in England and Wales will tend to rise and above the summits in most of Snowdonia, and you're lifting to around 500 to 800 metres eventually in Scotland for a time as a front edges northwards. Quite a powerful area of low pressure skims eastwards across the country through the early part of New Year's Eve, and the temperatures will fall behind that. Freezing levels something around 500 to 700 metres across Scotland, dropping 700-800 metres or lower eventually in England and Wales. Running forwards over a few days, then we'll see how temperatures are staying generally below freezing on those higher tops. Most higher terrain is frozen throughout. Cycles of freeze and thaw, I suspect, getting in to the hills of England and Wales, but most higher terrain in Scotland frozen throughout the week ahead. Just a brief lift in freezing level and temperature, I think sometime in the middle part of the week, but it looks as though as we run towards the later part of the week, this is through into around the 4th, 5th of January, maybe even towards the 6th, we just pull in a colder air mass from the north eventually and just drop those freezing levels and temperatures a touch later in the week. Let's run through the charts then, starting off with the middle of the day on Saturday, and gale force winds across the hills of England and Wales will strengthen to gale force across Scotland perhaps quite quickly as the day goes on, from not very much wind at all early on to in the afternoon widespread gales most likely across the Highlands. We've got a warm front edging briefly northwards into Scotland with snow on lower slopes turning to rain and a few showers, mostly of rain, across England and Wales. So just to run things on, and we'll go forwards in 6-hour steps, and we've taken the fronts off these charts just to try and uncomplicate the picture. It's quite a mobile situation. This is then through Saturday evening. The next developing low is coming in from the southwest, quite a potent storm system that's going to cross Ireland and eventually into the Irish Sea and northern parts of England and Wales through the early hours of Sunday morning. Some rain and snow across the mountains again in Scotland on the leading edge of this one. That system may well be out of the way into the middle of Sunday daytime, but just be prepared for possible gales or severe gales on the mountains early in the day. Showers will then come in from the west, again a mixture of rain and sleet on the lowest slopes, widely snow and perhaps hail mixed in there at times on most of the higher terrain. And later on Sunday, the next centre of low pressure is trying to extend into the western side of Scotland, which will strengthen the winds once again here. Going through into the early part of New Year's Day then, we've got low pressure to the north. Another developing system lies to the southwest of Britain. That could give a more potent storm system across France by this stage. And we're into a north-northwesterly type flow into Scotland. Showers focus more around the northwestern Highlands, bands of showers maybe organising for a few hours into Irish sea coast of Cumbria, across into the Pennines and into parts of Wales as well. Could be extending widely inland, and frequent snow and hail in those showers for a good period. The southeastern side of the Scottish Highlands is probably the most favoured for staying sheltered with that northwesterly wind direction. Risk of gales or severe gales across the higher tops and a significant wind chill factor in place. Brief ridge of high pressure tries to come in through Monday night into Tuesday, so a cold night in most of the valleys and the glens. The next fronts will be trying to edge in from the Atlantic into Tuesday daytime, so some rain preceded by snow and widely staying as snow on those higher tops, I suspect, in Scotland, and the risk of winds strengthening back to gale force again. That's the point where we just found that less cold air coming in from the Atlantic in midweek, just as we turn the wind a bit more southwesterly through into Wednesday. Fronts driving in then, giving some prolonged falls of rain or on higher areas snow in Scotland, and as a cold front on that tries to sink southwards, it may bring that freezing level back down again later. Very low confidence with the detail with this stage. You can take the idea that it's unsettled, you can see the proximity of the isobars bringing the risk of gales or severe gales again through the middle part of the week at some point. So broadly unsettled later in the week and even into next weekend, but difficulty with the detail. A lot of energy going on in the system in the short term makes the further ahead detail quite awkward. looks as though we could be a rather cyclonic pattern. In other words, low pressure is parked over the top of us, and some hints on the latest modelling that low may drag in colder air more extensively from the north for a period heading towards next weekend. Need to see how this one behaves. It may be a transient period of colder north-northwesterlies for all of us before something tries to eventually come back in from the Atlantic once again. So we'll keep an eye on things further ahead, but in the short term, pay close attention to your local details, things changing quickly then throughout this New Year period. Enjoy your time on the mountain, stay safe, and thanks for watching. Bye for now.